Hello, beautiful and powerful women. Welcome to Susan Unleashed. This podcast is for any woman who wants to live a gorgeous life on her terms and who knows that not only is being a woman enough, it is the key to everything. I'm your host, Susan Elizabeth, certified professional coach, #1 best-selling author, and Energy Leadership Index master practitioner. I fiercely support women who are passionate about elevating their lives while embracing their truest selves. Are you ready to unleash your power? Coco Chanel said, "Be who you are, not who the world wants you to be." That quote is so inspiring to me. I love Chanel. I love Coco Chanel. I loved who she was as a woman. And she really stepped into her own true power and her own true strength. And in today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the masculine aspects, the feminine aspects of ourselves, but not just that, to take it a step further and to talk about how to marry these two together so you can live in who you are and source from either one of those for whatever you need in your life, whatever you want to be in your life. So a little bit about the masculine aspects. I want to start there first. The masculine, it's the aspects of these. So we all have masculine and feminine aspects within each of us. All of us, men and women, we all have masculine and feminine within inside each of us. As women, most of us live in our feminine, and we also have developed masculine aspects or traits or qualities within ourselves. I personally have very highly developed masculine aspects because of my business side of me and my career, whether it's my entrepreneurial journey or my corporate journey. And many women have very highly developed masculine aspects. Some women want to develop more masculine aspects of themselves. But let me start with this. So let me start by describing the masculine qualities or aspects. So those are things like linear, very focused. An end point. You do something to get to an end, achieve a goal, and you're done. It's kind of that laser focus that you have in your life. It delivers, it achieves. It's very goal oriented. It's very head. It's very thinking. It's logical. There's a lot of discipline there. It's very protective. Masculine energy is very protective. It offers a lot of security. It's a protector. It's outward. It's directional. There's a clarity there. There's this incredible goal orientation to the masculine aspects. It's assertive. It's tangible. It's concrete. It's like black or white. It is one thing or it's the other. It's very giving. It's a very practical energy. It's this provider energy. So those are the aspects that are very masculine. And with these aspects, I tap into these aspects when I need to deliver something, when I need to achieve a goal, when I need to take action and movement on something. I can source from and tap into these aspects within myself to go, if I got to support something, if I have to protect something, if I have to deliver something, if I need to be very logical, data-driven, goal-oriented, I can tap into those. Those are very, very much there and a part of me. Now, the feminine aspects, those are aspects like intuition. It's qualities like feeling, spiritual, grounded, free, wild, beingness, where masculine is doing, feminine is being. If you want to learn how to live a ripe, wild, and fierce life, make sure that you check out my new course. When you're finished with the podcast, the link is in the show notes, so head on over to the link and check it out there. Nature, it's receiving energy. The feminine energy is a very receiving energy. It's creative. It's a reflective energy. It's very creative. It's trusting. It's open. It's open to receive. There's a flow and an ease there. There's an organicness to it as well. It's also strong. It does have boundaries. It has compassion and radical empathy. That feminine energy is very, very connective as well. Very heart space, very kind. There's a state of surrender. It's just surrendering to what is and then trusting as well. There's a trusting energy with the feminine energy as well. It's graceful, it's allowing, it's feeling energy. Masculine is thinking energy, feminine energy is that feeling and being energy. It's nurturing, and feminine energy is transformation. It's a transformer energy. Just think of it this way. When you want to get pregnant, you receive from the man what it takes to make a baby, right? And then your body literally takes the man's energy, and your egg then creates a baby, and your body holds the baby for that whole process of getting ready to birth a child out into the world. And then you give back to the world this energy and this thing that you've received from the man. You receive. So it's a receiving energy. Then you transform. And then you put out into the world this transformed, beautiful energy, this physical baby. But do you see where I'm going with this? It's a very transformative energy. And I like to think of this, and I love to teach my clients and the women that I coach that, boy, you could be handed anything, transform it. You've always heard that saying, if you're handed lemons, make lemonade. It's true. That is a transformation. That is a transformative energy. And I look at that as I can transform my entire life. I can be whoever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do. But I come from a being place before I go to that doing place, because I had it all backwards before, because my innate self is very highly feminine. And I abandoned that for so long. And so I think for me, I want to start with, and you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I've developed within myself a lot of the masculine aspects because I've needed to. And then I've also thought I've needed to. First of all, I've needed to go out into the world to achieve a lot of goals that I have, and a lot of dreams and a lot of visions that I've had for my life. So I needed to think about where I wanted to go, how I was going to get there. I needed to deliver. I needed to be focused. But at the same time, I needed that space to allow and receive and be creative, and to imagine the possibilities, and to dream, and to live in my desires. And I had to go to that feeling place and to imagine and really feel what my life would be like. And so that supportive energy, that masculine energy that I've developed, has served me really well in achieving things and going after things in my life. Where I got it wrong was that I was always doing to have, and then at the end of the day, it would just create what I thought would be like a feeling of like I'd feel more successful, but I'd always get to the end of that and I'd still feel empty, because I wasn't truly coming from a place that was filling my soul with a beingness and a being place, my true feminine strength, because I was living so much in my masculine. Well, early on, I had the disease to please, where I didn't have those highly developed masculine aspects yet. And I was always wanting to be liked, wanting to be accepted, wanting to go out in the world and be a part of life and things. And, and then I was being promoted because I started really developing my masculine aspects. I was being promoted for my talent and my ideas and the value I was adding to things and my creativity. But I was starting to develop the masculine aspects because I needed to, and I thought I had needed to. And I had realized, then I started manning up. I love to call that. I would man up. And I did man up for a long, long time. And it kept taking me further. And I started getting further and further away from myself as a woman, where I didn't even wear the color pink anymore. I was wearing black and white, where the feminine is all shades of gray and every color in between. The masculine, it's like black and white. It is or it isn't. And I was wearing black and white all the time. Whew, and I remember the day my life coach said to me, she's like, Susan, why don't you try wearing pink? And I'm like, I hate the color pink. Yet as a child, pink and magentas and fuchsias were my favorite color in the world. But I was so far away from myself at that point that I couldn't even imagine putting on anything with the color pink in it or owning anything with the color pink, even in my house on things. Anyways, so I developed a lot of masculine aspects out of fear. Fear because I wanted to achieve and I wanted to accomplish something, because I was trying to prove my worth and trying to prove my value. But what I'm here to tell you is there is another way. There is another way to develop those aspects of yourself from not a fear-based place, because fear steals your life. It stole mine for so long. And there is a way, like some of the younger women will come to me and they will want to develop some of those more masculine aspects. So we will guide, and I will go through on the journey with them, and I will guide them, and we will go out, we'll take action steps, and we'll put a strategy in place, and we'll put plans together of how they're going to do things. But I always get clear on, why do you want to do this? You know, what's your why? What is your reason? Why is this important to you? And then we talk about what gets in the way and what feelings they have. But I think going out and developing those aspects with intention, not from a fear-based place, will serve you so well. And for me, I finally got to the place where I had recognized all of these masculine aspects. It's kind of like the suit of armor that I put on. And after I started learning how to take off the suit of armor and come back to my strengths as a woman and stand, my true power is in my own innate self, my own authenticity, my own knowing who I am, claiming that, naming that, standing in that, and bringing that out to the world and sourcing from that place. That is something nobody can take away from you, and I don't have to go prove to anyone or anything. Stop trading away my worth and my value. But my point to this is, I've developed a lot of masculine aspects, but I've had to learn in my life to come back to my true self as a woman and really live in the feminine aspects of myself, and then source from those masculine aspects in situations or around people when I need to. And so I talked a little bit about masculine and feminine, but now I want to talk a little bit about how to develop either one of these further, and then how to marry the two. And that's really the point of this, because we hear a lot about masculine and feminine in the world. But what's really important is to marry these two together and learn how to source from either one, but then live in your authentic self and your authentic strength. So the first step on all this is really the awareness. Where are you living, and how are you being, and how are you sourcing this? Are you too feminine and you need to develop some of the masculine aspects of yourself because it's going to take you further? It's going to allow this pathway for you to be yourself more. Or are you needing to step back away into your more feminine self because you've gone so far away from her, developing your masculine aspects? So the first step of this is awareness. That is the most important thing, aware. Once you become aware of that, then you can then step into a powerful place to start taking action. So I think it's about, what I want to say about this is, it's about equilibrium. It's an equilibrium. Equilibrium is all about harmony and balance. It's really about having balance between the two while living in your authentic self and sourcing from either side of yourself, or either set of aspects of yourself. I think it's the left side that's the receiving side, and the right side is the giving side. Like, even there's sides of our body. When I do some personal development work, I went through, I think maybe 2 months ago now, I spent like a whole day. I signed up for a class and I did this amazing spiritual work. And it was all around balancing feminine and masculine energies, because sometimes I can get really caught up in my masculine because I want to go achieve and I want to do and I love life and I want to show up and I can just completely engage in that. But then I have to learn how to use that and step back, like, oh, that's right, I'm doing that again. I'm kind of getting in my head. Come back to my heart, to my intuition and my gut space, and live from that place. So I want to share with you a time when, this is many, many years ago, I had really started really understanding about masculine and feminine energies and where I was living and how I was sourcing from these, and really becoming aware. Again, that first step was awareness. But then I was told, I think again, left side is receiving, right side is giving. So I've got my hands out. If you can't see me right now, like on my YouTube channel, and you're watching the video and you're listening to the podcast, I'll explain it for the sake of anybody who's listening and not watching the video. So the left side and the right side, I have my hands out. I was asked by my guide, my teacher, in a particular class I was taking for a weekend, to then, we did a lot of masculine and feminine work. Now, take the two, put your hands out in front of you, and then bring and intertwine your fingers in between each other. And then you're going to ask the two to marry each other. And then you're going to feel this flow between the two. So my hands are now intertwined in front of me. The fingers are interlaced in front of me. And that was representative of the flow of energy between the left and the right, the masculine and the feminine, right? The giving and the receiving. Well, when she asked me to do this, like my hands, they couldn't even come together. Like I couldn't even touch my hands together. And what I started doing was making my masculine wrong. And I made my feminine wrong after I started manning up and living in my masculine. But I started making my masculine wrong. And that is not a healthy place to come from either. Like, step back, Susan. I learned, like, whoa, still have a lot of work to do here. So that was another sign for me to do further work, not just understand masculine and feminine and how to start tapping into either one, but making them both right. These are both a part of me. They're both aspects of myself that I had developed early on in life, and that I had also developed this other set through my years of going through life. And now later in my life, I have both at my fingertips. I have both at my disposal. I have both available to me at all times. And I understand them, and they're available to me, and I source from them whenever I want. And it's living through choice, and choice is freedom. Choice is freedom. So I want to share with you some steps, and I think some tips and some steps to further to go forward with this. If you recognize any of this within yourself, I think there's some work if you don't fully understand the masculine and feminine and how you're showing up with those, but then also how to marry them. I just want to share some tips around all of this, what I'm talking about today on this episode. So I think the first thing is I'm always a big proponent for personal development work. And I think that's one of the reasons you're listening here, because you're curious. You want for yourself to be open and exposed to other ideas and other things, other ways, and maybe learn some things along the way. And that's why you're here today, and you're doing that. And you know what? Yay for you, and keep doing that. And I always like to go so far as, hire a coach. Be around people that are like-minded, that you can share yourself with and your ideas. And get coached or get mentored around developing the feminine aspects of yourself or the masculine aspects of yourself, and then learning how to source from them and learning how to marry the two together. Like, it's like a family living in the same household in harmony and peace. And I think another thing I want to do is share, like step 1, awareness. Step 2, get help, get support, get coaching, get guidance. Go research, go learn, journal, meditate. And do these things around who are you really and how are you showing up? Are you showing up in your feminine? Are you showing up in your masculine? If you want to learn how to live a ripe, wild and fierce lifestyle, make sure to check out my new course. It's in the show notes, so when you are finished with the podcast, head on over to the show notes and click on the link. And what aspects are you truly? Like, really, what aspects are you truly? And what's inside you? Think back to a child and how you lived your life. Are you showing up like that now? How are you showing up? And what do you want to develop in yourself? And where you show up fully as yourself, that's where you're living with flow and ease. That's what's flowing through life. That's what's going to bring joy and happiness and pleasure and delight and indulgence. Oh, so good. And then think about who you really want to become. And I think part of that is, I know when I was doing some of my work around true feminine power and feminine strength, I was thinking about who were women that were out in the world that were really doing it well, that I could be inspired by. You know, and I think of my lineage and my family, like my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my mother. But I also thought about the women who were really successful and beautiful and feminine and powerful. And I named those: J.Lo, Sophie Loren, Coco Chanel. Never met them. Beyonce. But I've watched them on TV. I've listened to what they've said, and they represent to me that powerful feminine, and they use the masculine in their business, yet they live in their feminine, who they are. And those were such inspirations for me. And one day, if they ever listen to this, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to all of the women out there who are strong and who set examples, because they're wonderful, wonderful examples of inspiration that are feminine and powerful. Like, whoo, love it. And then, so really it's coming back to what people, what idols, what figures are out there that are traits that you admire and are inspired by. And I think it's that space and that place where knowing what those are, and do you have those within yourself, or do you need to develop those within yourself? And then taking that inspired action to do that, to develop those within yourself. And what is similar? What do you have that's similar to that? And what do you have that you want that you don't have? And then getting clear on that, getting clear on what you want to develop, getting coached, reading, joining groups, masterminds, membership groups that are around like-minded women that share the same values, join a program. So really getting around this and being around this and doing your work around this. And I think the last thing I want to say besides taking action is really look at life as your playground, because that just lightens things up. And I think as so many women, so many of us are, I don't want to say we work hard, because that's like such an old thing for me, but we have dreams and desires and a vision for our life, and we want to achieve. We want to go take inspired action to do these things, but without making it heavy and hard and really living in the masculine, like, oh, got to go get busy. I need to go fix myself. We are not broken, and we don't need to be fixed. So clear about that. So I think it's coming back because the feminine plays. She has fun and she celebrates. So I want that for you. I want for you to look at your life is now you get to go practice this and play and have fun and celebrate. Okay, that's it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. I had so much fun talking about this. I love to share this information. I love to share this kind of information. And I will so look forward to speaking with you again next week. Okay, take care, everybody, and have a beautiful, beautiful week. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave me a review or share it with someone else who may enjoy it too. To stay connected with me, please head on over to SusanElizabethCoaching.com and make sure that you sign up for my tips on how to live an unleashed life full of passion and purpose. Until next time, go live an unleashed life.